Okay guys, welcome again to another vlog, and we're once more in the transmission. If you watch the last vlog, you see where my 5 and 6 got into. I interchanged my 5 and 6 because the 5 speed I have was a little bit longer than the 6. When I shift from 4, I have to go around where the 6 is, then go to the 5 because that's the longest gear. So today I'm going to correct that. I'm going to install the SI 6 gear in the correct position or in this transmission. So I'm going to put back my original 5 and use the SI 6. So now, when I'm shifting now, I'm going to shift where the 5 is from 4 to 5, then 6. Well, it wasn't really clean before, but now it's the correct way to shift. Both cases are clean and ready. This side, this side. This is the input shaft. Input shaft now with the, this is the current setup that I have right now, which I'm going to change because this right now is my 6 gear and this is the 5 that I'm telling you about, the long 5. So I'm going to replace this with my original 5, and then the SI 6 I'm going to put into this place. The counter shaft, I've already interchanged the gears on that. That method is a little bit different from this. This you can just pull these gears off by hand, while the counter shaft you have to press them off. So that I did that already. I didn't record it, but I can explain the process to you. So right now this is the input shaft. It's in the same position or the same setup as before, with the 5 in the 6 position, the 6 in the 5 position. So I'm going to change these 2 gears to correct that. This is the SI 6 gear, and this 6 gear design is a little bit different from the 6 that is used on this one right now. This is a single synchro setup, and this one is a double synchro setup. So let me show you the difference. Those are the 2 6 gears. So as you can see, this 6 carry 3 holes right here. This doesn't carry any, and right here is a little bit it's a little bit smaller than this. Slightly different, but and roughly just right here is the difference where the synchro would go. So this single synchro setup is just for this one single synchro that's just rested right there. So rest it right here just like that. Simple setup. While for this one, cannot work on this one. This use a different type of synchro, which is these synchros. So dual synchros with this piece in the middle. This is what is used for this one, and this single synchro for this one. But other than that, the circumference right here are the same. That's it. This is slightly bigger, and the other gear and the counter shaft would compensate for the size of this. I guess that's how the gear ratio differs. So I'm going to change this 6 as I said. Remove this, put this in this place right here, and after I remove this, not using back that, I'm going to remove this long 5 because this and this is the same. I think I'm going to put the specs on the screen. So these are the same right now. So because this was the long 5 I have in. So I'm going to remove this 5 and put back my original 5 back in this space right here, and then put this 6 on the top right here, and this would complete the input shaft for the gear setup. Alright, so now that we get the 6th part out of the way, now we're going to do the 5th part. So this is the 5th gear, my original 5th gear that I replaced with this long fifth. So I'm going to remove this fifth now, so I can put back my original fifth. Then I can install this long six. This fifth also is a dual synchro fifth. Carry the holes, the dual synchros carry the holes, carry 3 holes. Always carry 3 holes. The dual gear type, the gear that uses this dual synchros, they carry the 3 holes. So this is my original fifth. I'm going to replace this. Alright, so I'm going to remove this now to replace the fifth. That will go right there. Slide off this. And this fifth also is a single synchro fifth. This fifth also a single synchro. You can see that long fifth. So with this fifth now install, I'm going to install now the six, the long six. So this now is now complete. So it's like this. This is the first gear. You have the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So you always have a first gear that's built on the shaft. First and second gear is permanently merged with the shaft. It's built on the shaft. So you have first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So as you increase, the gears get bigger, if you realize. So this, for higher ratio, is bigger than this one. So this now is complete input shaft. So let me show you the counter shaft now. So the counter shaft is set up in the reverse, where the first gear is bigger, second, third, and the gears get smaller going up. So it's something like that. So the first gear is bigger, gets smaller going up. Input shaft, first gear is smaller, get bigger going up to the 6. So the counter shaft now, this is the gear I replaced for the 6. So this is the long 6 that will match now with this, like this. When you put it in the box, it will match like that. Counter shaft gears, you have to press them off. So it's not like this. This is less complicated. This is more not really complicated, but easier to remove the gears from this than this. You have to use a press to remove it from the counter shaft. So now with all the gears assembled, SI6 fully now assembled, and next thing, when you're buying a SI6 gear, say you want to increase your 6 speed to make it longer, you're going to have to get this 6 for the counter shaft and this for the input shaft. And when you buy this, you're going to need a single synchro with it also. You're always going to have these, so if you already have a 6, so these now can go with this. But the synchro, you need a single synchro if that's not how your box is set up. Or even if you're not sure, still get a single synchro. You might never know to go with this. So that's the 6th gear, and this now is complete. The SI 6th gear is complete now. So it's just one thing left to do now is to assemble the box and install it into the car. Alright, one more. When you're doing any gearbox job, always examine the gears, synchros, and bearing. Because upon examination, I discover this. You see right here, that is crack right here, and also right there. So I'm going to have to replace this bearing. Fortunately, I can get this locally, but not right now at this moment. So what I'm going to do in the meantime, I'm just going to assemble back the whole box and just leave this part with the transmission, with the shaft with no bearing, because this just go on the top right here. So I'm just going to assemble the whole box and then leave this part, get the bearing, just put it on there, and then I can close the box. So always examine your bearing to make sure they're in running good condition. If you you can just try turning, spinning them, and listen if it sound loud, or you can do this and feel it if it feel coarse. This one still probably needs changing, so I'm going to just replace the two differential bearings. I already replaced this and this brand new. This one also is the original bearing. I didn't replace this, but based on how it feels right now, it's okay. But these two, definitely differential bearing. I'm going to replace them and replace this, as you can see. So I'm just going to assemble the box, as I said, and get the bearing, the input shaft bearing, which is this, the replacement, so I can close the box. Okay, so some things to point out when you're assembling the gearbox. You see this thing? This something that would cause a leak. Reason being, alright, when you assemble everything, cover the box with this part. You have a, let me see if I can find a hole. This hole right here, where a bolt has to go through to lock onto this. You see, for some reason you probably install this and it turns like that, and I mean it turns like that after you apply silicone and everything and close the box. There's no way for you to turn this thing like this when the box is already closed. So always remember, when assembling your box, you see the hole must point to this nipple or this little thing right here. That's what I use. Make sure this is in line with this. So when you're ready to close the box now, this hole, that will be aligned with this. Trust me, headache if it's not aligned. You will have to pull back the box and align it. And once you close the box, you don't really want to go back. You don't really want to reopen the box just for one little thing like that. And another thing to this magnet, always just put this in first before you assemble the box also. You don't want to set up the box and after you set up, then you're probably thinking to yourself, wonder if I install a magnet. No, you don't want that. So this now is completely assembled. Well, just the gears and stuff assembled. So I use the bearing just so this won't fall off. So as I said, I'm going to replace this bearing because you can see where it's damaged. I think this is cracked. This was already it's been like this for a while because I didn't really check it. It's just today I decided to check it, but it's not worth the risk to install back again and keep driving on. So just going to replace this so I can close the transmission for it to be complete. So I don't know if it's today or the next day I'll do that, but anytime I get this bearing, I'll come back to you guys, come back here, and then we can continue. Alright guys, welcome again, and this is day 2 and I'm picking up where I left off the day before, which was covering the transmission. I've already installed the SI6 on the SI6 on the counter shaft that I told you about, and I did it on the input shaft for you guys to see. So now, and when I left, the last thing I talked about was this bearing that I was going to replace it, and as you can see, basket is good again. So this bearing is good to go. So now we're going to close the transmission, and even though I said it yesterday, I'm just saying it again, to always make sure this shaft where the reverse gear is on is pointing to this, and double check to make sure you have the magnet inside the transmission. So now with everything this bolted down, everything installed, now we're just going to close the case. Use silicone for that. I saw a lot of people using Underband. That's a very good brand, but I can't get that locally, so I'm going with the ultra grade silicone. I've been using that for some time. I wanna have any issue with it. So now with everything set, bearing, gears, and this idle shaft, really important. You can look from this angle to make sure it's in line. It don't have to be perfect, but when you're closing the box, you need to see this. So you can push a screwdriver inside when the time you close the box, just to get it perfectly aligned. Now we're going to just close the box. Apply silicone. Kind of rugged now still, but apply silicone and then close the box. Install the bolts and it will be ready. After that, we're ready to install it in the R6. Okay, so we have closed up the transmission by applying silicone and installing these bolts right around. And this is the bolt I was telling you about. I don't think you can see it, but just to verify it's there. That's it. And see, it's completely lined up. So as long as you do it the way I showed you in the video, you cannot go wrong. Sometimes it's not perfectly lined up, but as I said, from you can see the hole. When you look through this, you can see that it's partially lined up, where you can put something in it like this, you can get it lined up perfectly. But if you wear it turn completely away from this hole on the case, if it's turned like that, then you're in trouble. You have to pull back the case. So just to close this up, this hole up, this is the casing where the pin is that locks the counter shaft bearing. This is the area where the pin is that locks the counter shaft bearing. This lock the shifter mechanism, and this lock the shaft for the reverse gear. So that's the only thing that's left on the transmission for it to be complete. So yeah, alright guys, for these ones that are left, I'm going to do them in real time. And for those who are installing D10 spring and shifter springs, this is, if you have them, now would be a good time to install them. Seeing that you have removed the selector and the D10 springs when you were disassembling the box. So now would be a good time to install those parts. Always remember to make sure these washers are on the bolts. You don't want to tighten them without the washers. That's another headache. Alright, one more thing. If you notice, let me see if I can give you some light. If you notice this pin, oh, it's locked in now. Oh, sometime when you close the transmission and you look right here, it's not locked. It's not sitting in the groove like that. So sometimes what you have to do is just turn the transmission upside down with this part facing the ground and just tat it, like get a piece of board like this and just barely just tat it on the board, and the counter shaft will just slide down and then this will fall into place. Only thing that's left for the assembly to be complete is for this to install. So I'm going to install this. Normally do I just put a little silicone around this area, this flat area, the surface, and close it, or you can apply the silicone right here instead, then close it and tighten it. After fully assembling the transmission, this is what I always do. I always make sure the gears are selecting smoothly and the shaft is spinning freely. So this is how I'd use this to select the gears. So you know, first gear different from second and third. First you find reverse. So you know, whatever reverse, anywhere reverse falls, first, third and fifth will be in the opposite direction. So that's reverse. Reverse go that way. So you know all your first, third and fifth. So down, first, second, release, let it go, third, fourth. Cannot come up too much, fifth, sixth. So now I'm going to test the gears. So if you set up your box, if after completion of... Okay, mom. So after you have finished, completed the setting up of your transmission, and if you test shaft, test it like this. If it's not spinning like this, something is wrong. That's when it's not, no gear isn't selected. So you don't select any gears, just try turn it like this. And if it's not rotating as free as this, like this, something is wrong. So this box now is ready to be installed in the car and testing, and ready to be tested to see how the 6th gear, well, it's going to feel like the long fifth still, but just that satisfaction of shifting power from 5th to 6th the correct way. So this now is ready to be installed into the DC5. And this now is not something, well, this installation is not just for DC5s. Any K series box, you can do it to any K series box, because the setup is basically the same. So yes guys, I'm going to install this next. Then if I finish in time, I'll do a test run.